Hey everyone, hope my audio is okay. Back again with another dev stream. Thanks for watching. Today we'll be working on some damage mechanics for Aile. Let me switch the view here so you guys can see my monitor. Perfect. Alright, so as you can see, where are we here? So, we can simulate our battle, fine. This is the debug battle arena, so I've set the tiles to be the way they are. And, our characters can attack. Um, And recently, I was just working with the two different like battle mode mechanics for offense and movement. But today we'll be working on Aile's offensive movement or offensive command specifically. So, excuse me as I stumble over my words. The first thing we're going to have to do is go over to our game instance and set up our party so that I can. We just want to isolate Aile, so we're gonna delete these two from the party. Compile. Let that do its thing. So now when we come in here, yeah, we only have Aile in the party. We jump into battle. There she is, and she fires. So we don't need most of this stuff actually. I can close project settings as well. What I am looking for is Aile's battle mode blueprint. So I believe in the last stream I went over the gun setup for Aile. Basically, when she is spawned, she has a child actor of her gun. All right, you can see it here. There it is, and it's an actor because it has subcomponents, right? So it has a reference to the actor type, the Buster Carbine, and over on the event graph, when she's set up, we call this function to set up this gun. And over here, we're grabbing all these variables from the game instance, the loaded ammo and the Buster Carbine configuration itself. And that's used basically to draw the weapon. We don't have the meshes, or I don't have any meshes for the different components at this time, but you can imagine, for the barrel switch, for the different modules, different barrels, different stocks, whatever. Like I think there's 3 or 4 for each type. That's in the works. And right now we're just doing the module here, and that's because based on the module type, it changes the color of the projectile, but also adds that elemental affinity, which is what we're going to add in here. Long way to go about that. But every, C player BM class has a variable called basic attack. Right, and you can see the default value here is, for Aile it's ranged, target is single, power value is 5, damage type is raw right now. So it shouldn't be too hard to configure. Just gotta see where we damage the enemy. Yeah, so we are feeding basic attack in to our attack hit function on the combat referee. Now, it should be very simple. I just want to check. I'm pretty certain we have references all set up on begin play. We set a variable to her Buster Carbine, and we set a reference to herself on the carbine, which is just what we needed. So on gun setup, we can add another function here actually. Let's move this up out of the way. Oh no! I hate that. I hate when I miss. I miss a critical element, and my beautiful blueprints are all ugly now. Okay. Anyways, so we'll drag another execution pin off of gun setup. Or maybe first, where should we start? Let's grab our reference, which is set. And we can grab basic attack, right? We want to set it, which should be pretty simple. We want to make this, right? So we have all the variables that are part of this structure. And I think we want to get it as well, because we don't want to be changing too much. So get, oops, get basic attack. And normally, you know, instead of passing it through from get to set, we're going to make and break it and change a few things in between. So we're going to break this. And, you know, the name of the attack is fine. Help description is fine. Keep that the same. Action type, correct. Target type, single target, multiple target, all frontline, all backline. This is subject to change later depending on, like, very special ammo types, like a spread shot or something like that. But for the purpose of just, like, hooking up our elemental damage, we don't have to mess around with target type right now. Power value will also be impacted by the barrel boost. Sorry, not barrel boost. Yeah, it'll be impacted by this variable based on the barrel equipped, but also by the ammo type as well. Let's keep that the same for now. We want to work with just the damage type. So let's grab this. So this is what we're going to change as soon as her gun is set up. Looking pretty good over here. Let's make a bit more space. Okay, just so something to work with. And then based on our Buster Carbine module, let's grab that, bring that down here, and this is actually pretty simple. We should be able to select and plug this in here. And then based on, you know, if it's none, we want raw damage. If it's red, we want fire damage. Blue, water, it's pretty simple. Lightning, cyan is going to be ice, and green is actually also going to be raw damage. And that should adjust her her attack damage type. So by default, she has the red core. I know it's not red, but the variable is set to be red. So we are getting those attacks in. I mean, they are registering, but typically with damage types, different damage types have different coloration on the text. And I'm wondering as to why that did not reveal itself. Module type is red. If we jump over to the game instance, we can see her default gear that we're setting up here. Modules are this one. Yeah, this is module red. So it should be firing. I don't think I need to put a print string there to determine why it's not. Let's just try, let's change this to module blue. Let's just do a quick test, because I know I've set up the colored text for water elementals because of Maya's abilities. Whoops. Yeah, no skills for her yet, as you can see. Well, the bullets and effects are changing quite nicely, but we're not getting our colorized text. So we change for basic attack, come back over here. That basic attack is feeding in to the enemy. So if we go to attack hit, jump over here. So we tell the referee she has struck. We have the attacking character. The enemy character gets to flinch. We do a camera shake, and the strength is set also. We run a damage formula based on this, and an affinity formula for elemental types. Hmm. I have to like relearn what I've built here. Update enemy HP. And then in this function, we should have somewhere floating text, right? So we get target active floating text. We have damage type, which is coming through here. Well, it's a bit odd. Oh, the damage formula. It's so technical. So much math's happening here. Yeah, attack action. It's pretty simple though, for what I'm looking at. The damage type is just being passed straight through. We do a quick check, but ultimately it doesn't matter. That check doesn't impact the output of the type. And then we pass it through this macro, and then we pass it further along to update enemy HP, which shows the colored text. Okay, let's do another quick. Let's troubleshoot as to why. I'm almost certain that the damage type is registering correctly. If we break this, so on strike, when her attacks go through to the combat referee for transfer of damage to the enemy, we can append this. Whatever, Aile, what did you say before? Aile strike. And below that we can type in the, not type in, but pass through the damage type for display. Interesting. So this actually isn't getting set. Aile battle mode reference. On gun setup, on begin play. So we don't have to work around with the referee, which I'm happy for because it's far more complex what's going on there. Damage type is... Yo, Julio, what's up? How's it going? Thanks for stopping by. I'm just here setting up some elemental damage. Or trying to, at least. It should be straightforward. So on begin play, we get a child actor, and we create a reference to it. And then we do the same thing for the animation blueprint, which is all straightforward stuff over here. When we load from game instance, we set visual state weapon, which basically calls the gun setup over here. How about instead of casting to this? It's the same object though. We should be able to use this instead because we don't have to cast to it again. We can set up a note here. Set it up for static mesh customization. So we set the carbon module to blue, which does change all the effects as needed. Okay, let's see if that impacted anything. Very interesting. Our mesh isn't animating anymore. Not the mesh, but the actor class inside of the child actor class inside of Aile's blueprint. Oh, you know why? I know why. It's because this is called from the parent function, which is called first before this begins to execute. So the gun setup doesn't take place now. Let's take a quick look at the begin play. Yeah, load from game instance. Let me set up our transforms and camera location. So on Aile's blueprint, we can move that over down here, and that should solve that issue just fine. Whoops, okay, and there it is, working fine. You can see the blue text, but also the print string reads out as water. Let's try some other colors here. Not other colors, but let's try, I don't know, other module types rather. Let's try, green should be raw damage, so it'd be the same as none. Let's try something different. Maybe let's go back to red. See if we can actually pass through some fire damage. And on this readout here, I will increase this to 5. Whoops, that's way too long. 5. Okay, so beautiful. Look at that sweet, sweet fire damage. And if we hop over to, let's try yellow. It's actually funny because Vance doesn't have any special moves yet. Only Maya's basic moves are water types, so that's the only elemental damage I've actually seen so far. So it's kind of cool to be able to toggle all these different elemental damage types. That's not correct. So it looks like that swapped somewhere. Yellow should be lightning, right? That is correct. I mean, I guess the sound effects should change and stuff too for the gun. Not the sound effects, but maybe the impact effects. Let's see here. Okay, let's go back to the floating text setup. It was on the combat referee. That function, damage formula. I think let's just find it here. Okay, it's a macro, floating text. It spawns an actor. And then we are, we'll have to go inside of that actor. We see set data. It calls this event here. Geez, we're like Inception right now. How many layers deep are we? Okay, so lightning type is signified by that color, so that is correct. In terms of the execution, it's just why would it be that color for lightning, right? Should be a yellow. More like this. That's good. We have ice, void, and poison as well. Oh, you have to check that out because we made changes to that widget. Okay, it's saving out-of-date packages, but it doesn't actually save my work, so I have to do that now. Excuse me. It was just a good reminder. Hey, Oni64, thanks for stopping by. We're just saving my work. Okay. Hopping over here. See what the yellow core inserted. We should. Yeah, that's looking correct. Definitely. I think that's safe to say that's working pretty much as intended, right? We can begin to comment this out because this is getting like, what is this? We don't even know. How would anyone know? How would I know if I had to come back and work on this? Okay. Cast to Buster Carbine module and set variable as a reference. We're gonna have to do this later because if you look, there's actually two modules in the gun. One here and one on the undermount as well. We're just dealing with the top one now for the primary fire. We'll come back to this one down here for the metagun undermount at a later time. Oops, I want to go to this tab here. Okay, I might need a bit more space. We can pass this through. Just keep it at red for fire core, or module red for fire damage. Set up barrel push. Set up module mesh type. Actually, this is not correct. Switch on Buster module from Buster Carbine config. We're going to copy that because we're going to use it in these other functions. Whoops. Control B by accident. Where are we? Okay. Jeez, I'm such a noob sometimes. Switch on barrel. So huge. Okay. Right, so there, we got some logic. These can be commented as well, but without zoomed bubbles. Set barrel boost. And this one is set buster carbide module. Module? Okay. Set. Okay. And here we are updating basic attack based on various components. That's a very general statement, but like, to be honest, there's going to be a lot going on here. Like I mentioned, we got these boosts from our barrel type, so we need to add that to our power value. I haven't worked out the actual math for that right now, so I'm not going to mess around with it. I know her gun is already too strong, so I'll have to come back to that at a later time. What is next? Can close this out. We don't need those widgets and actors. Yeah, static mesh customization comes afterwards. Okay, I guess I did have a little bit of bonus stuff we could cover, particularly around the HUD. As you can see, the quickest way I can show you is our command list has this aesthetic, but you know, our submenus have this kind of aesthetic, and I want to make it consistent. So I'm going to change the command list to function more like, and not function more, but it's going to function the same. It's going to be visually of this styling, more old school-ish, I suppose. More like a classic Final Fantasy. That gun noise might be too loud, now that I think about it. We could lower it with volume control. No, you know what? Let's just go to the HUD. Battle mode is here. We are looking at the battle HUD. There it is. You can see the... Okay. And there's a submenu that appears when we want to use it. Now, here is the... I don't want to say challenge, but I remember what I did when I built this so long ago. I don't think I like it anymore, from memory anyways. Let's find those references. Yeah, so we set the initial... There's only 4 buttons, right? There's only 4 buttons, and we've changed them to different things based on the player's um, the player's input. Now, geez, this is so intense. Right, focus command list up and down. So based on the command index, we actually change all those, like get command graph. So if the command index is, oh, these are all our checks. So we have update command graph collapsed here. Yeah, so based on the command index, we're changing all 4 buttons to make it appear as if it's scrolling. This is what I was looking at. And I don't, I think the programming here, I'm just thinking about it. This is just so on the fly. It's not these aren't planned tutorials, guys. I hope you're aware, right? They're very much dev streams, just spreading awareness, sharing what's going on, right? Anyways, I think the logic of this whole thing here is fine. What I have to do though is probably make a new sub widget, similar to how in the battle HUD, if we go to the designer, we have this floating menu. We would actually want something similar. I don't love the name floating menu. It's where I call it like sub menu. Jeez. And then we would have another one here. I think a good starting point would be to duplicate the original floating menu. So we can duplicate it, and we're going to call this command list. Yeah, before I had these weird command cards. That's what I called them anyways, and they were literally those diagonal shapes. So we're gonna, I might need to reference this later because it does have some different things like state changes and different variables that need to be modified the same way. But for now, let's go to the command list, and here's what it looks like. So not ideal. Let's take a look at this structure here. We have a canvas panel. Let's collapse everything. What are our 2 things? Something's hidden. Geez, what is this? Honestly, that just might be junk. How embarrassing. Are there any variables inside of it? Description, section description. No, it's not being used. How about this? And nothing found there either, so I'm just gonna delete it. It's also, if I need it, worst case scenario, I can still pull it off of the original widget we duplicated this from. So let's continue. We have our primary border. We have a panel. It's getting close. Okay, so this is our padding. So our light gray to dark gray, where all our data is. Then we have a vertical box and horizontal box for labels. Cost, I don't think we need. I'm going to hide this for now. Spacer, just hide all this stuff. Page number, I don't think we need any of that stuff. I think we just need to write command. Maybe all caps would look better. Let's try and reference our source HUD. Yeah, all caps. Okay, so we can close that. We have a scale box here for the widget buttons that get inserted. I'm going to keep that for now, and we have horizontal box indicators for next and previous. We shouldn't need those either. And then we have the actual space, our our child widgets, or button widgets, will be inserted into. So let's go to we should be able to size this a bit nicer. This is probably closer to what the actual command lists would, the final shape will be. I think we're still going to have 4 options that scroll in the same fashion, but this aesthetic will be more in keeping with what's going on. So let's save that. Next up, we are looking at, let's see here. We can close out her stuff. We're not using it anymore. Okay, so this is the command card, right? This is what's appearing in the widget already. Now, while this isn't suitable in its current state, it might be easier to duplicate and build off of this and adjust it than build something from scratch and referencing all of our necessary, like copying the functionality. If we're going to copy, if it's going to function the same and needs the same things, we might as well duplicate it, is my rationale. So let's duplicate this as well. We're going to have a better name. We're going to call this command list button. Command list button. Does that make sense? Like, what's a command card? I don't even know. I couldn't tell you. Okay, command list button, and I think we're going to go here, and we're going to grab our command list button and throw it in. Throw it into our vertical box. Right? There's a, that's how it looks. Let's throw in a few more, just for testing. 4? Oh, wow. 4, okay. Now over on the battle HUD, let us... Okay, we have our command list stack. If we collapse it, we don't have to collapse. We'll keep it open. Just as a temporary check on things, I'm going to... Oh, geez, so many elements here. Okay. Let's now grab our command list. Oh, why is there 2? Let's throw it on our canvas panel. Okay. I wonder if there's 2 because... No, we're compiled and saved. It's a little weird. Anyways, it looks like it's appeared in just fine anyways. So I guess it doesn't matter. There it is. Super small. There's so many elements here. I don't want to grab any widgets. I'm just going to position it using these sliders. So I'll take our... We'll anchor to the bottom. That work? Cool. So that's kind of already there. Oh, okay, I see. Yeah, that's fine. We'll recenter these. So let's position this up a little bit. Okay. Now I can get a sense of the size and where it needs to be. So I wonder if I can adjust it in real time. I'm just going to drag this to my other monitor here, and we are going to see if we can scale this and see it. Okay, so it's not really changing in real time. If I compile it, it should be fine. There it goes. It's jumping over. You guys can't see, but I'm pulling the strings in my other monitor. Just trying to size this approximately, like, to a decent size. Okay, so now it's currently 280. Let's go to 95. Okay, cool. That's a nice round number too. It's a whole number, which I like. I'm gonna save, bring this back over. So we got these like layers of widgets. Let's take a quick look at how this appears in... Okay, so it's a little hard to read. I mean, I know this isn't full screen, but still. So if we adjust some settings here. It may also have to do with the scale box everything is inside of. If we turn this to none, we get our actual size, which might be better. I don't think it is, though. I think we want it a little bit smaller. And it's nice to have everything scaled to fit as I would like it. So if we scale to fill, how are we looking here? Okay, I think we're ready to customize this big block here. So we have our cost blocks. These need some adjustment. I might not take the same approach for those. Our horizontal index and our borders. Size box should be fine. First thing I'm going to do is adjust the shear. Somewhere we are shearing. It's here. Okay. Oh gosh. Okay. I see what I did. Hold on. Right, the text is shearing the opposite way to counter the shearing of the parent. Kind of. Well, it works. But these buttons are going to be a bit different. You know what? Maybe these aren't the appropriate buttons to duplicate from. Because I do have a different button type. Too many ideas. I think I'm going to take this to pen and paper first before I proceed anymore. I guess I'll wrap up the stream. We did all the exciting stuff early on with the weapon types, damage types. Sorry. The damage type of Aile's weapon, based on the different types of modules that she has equipped. Alright, elemental damage is passing through. Pretty sweet. I guess that'll wrap it up. Here's the end screen. You can see there, please subscribe. It's super appreciated. I appreciate all the views and all that stuff too. And likes are awesome. And I'll be back hopefully sooner rather than later with another game dev stream. Thanks for watching.